okay, the nature of the brain and the mind. You have two parts of your brain, the left and the right hemisphere. Okay, the left hemisphere of your brain, right, is good for what and what? You know, start with L and L. Logic and language. The right part of your brain is good for what? Big picture. So it's very good for creative, holistic. Okay, and usually because of that, it's very abstract. Okay, so your right brain is basically like creative part, and your left brain is more logic and language. So logic and language means cause effect. A leads to B leads to C. Okay, right hemisphere, creative, big picture, holistic, abstract. Now, the reason why most people get stuck in any goal they set for themselves. Okay, and for today we talk about goal as behavior change, right? So changing from behavior 1 to behavior 2 is because logically they cannot see how it's possible. Logically, they cannot see how it's possible. Therefore, they stop themselves. Okay, so just now one of you mentioned, the person is taking 2 to 3 jobs. How do you, logically not possible. Maybe it's possible if they think creatively about how they manage the jobs. Maybe they find some similarities and combine and make systems, right? But logic, it seems not possible. Logically, so what we do in solution-focused coaching is to find an imaginary scenario, a solution in the future to solve the problem in the present, right? And we need to be creative about it. So I'll give you a very good example. Okay, you see here, this is the image you can have in your right hemisphere. Okay, so you want to build a house. So in your image in the right hemisphere, you want to build a house. But the logic you have is how to do it, don't know how to do it, right? Because you've never done it before, never built a house before. Because you never built a house before, your imagination, your creative side cannot see how to do it. So let me ask you, how many of you have traveled overseas before? Put up your hand. Put up, right? All of you, right? Very good. So you can tell me how to take a plane? How many of you can tell me how to take a plane? All of you, right? Okay. Therefore, if I ask you to take a plane, you can describe the steps. But if I ask a 6-year-old child, maybe they won't be able to describe the steps. Maybe they will describe a fantasy plane, maybe. Right? Same thing when you enter a company, any business. They may not know the steps. Right? And they may not feel they can do it. Therefore, here is cannot see. When they have no vision, no image, they cannot do it. Once they have a vision and image, they can do. They can do this first, they can build the roof first, they can build the window, they can build the door to make the image happen. But if there's no image of where to go, they cannot do it, they cannot see it. So that's now I was speaking to one of you who's an entrepreneur, right? And you said some of them can't take over my job because they don't have the background knowledge. They don't see what I see. So the best way to help a staff get on board is to help them see what you see, which is the right hemisphere. Then after they see, they can use logic to get there. But if they don't see it, can they use logic to get there? No. Okay, so when you do cross-team assignments, same thing. If the whole team across every department cannot see the endpoint, see together, then they cannot do, because they don't know what they're doing. Okay? But the funny thing is this, remember I told you just now, you cannot solve the situation because what happens? You cannot solve it because it is not yet done yet. So you're stuck in logic. So this one actually has to be what? Very creative. You have to see things you normally don't see, believe things you normally don't believe, so that you can see it's possible. Okay, now where's the science in this? You know Olympians, right? People who do Olympics, right? All of them have to see that they win first prize, right? Or first place, right? That's what they have to see, right? Or not, why go to Olympics? They all have to see their first place. Even though they're probably not going to be first, they still have to see they come in first, right? Or not, why go to the Olympics? Do you know what I mean? Who goes to Olympics and dream they come in third? I mean, that's a bit weird, right? Right? So what they do is they do visualization. They visualize themselves crossing the mark again and again. That means those like high pole vault, right? Jump, 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 cross the mark. Jump, jump, jump. Get it? In music, in peak performance, right, most of the time people cannot practice more than 4 hours a day. It's not possible. Because that means they'll get very tired. So Olympics, sports people also don't usually practice more than 4 hours a day. But they cannot practice with their body, they can practice in their mind to what? Visualize the end outcome they want. Okay, so one of the stories is very clear. This woman actually was an Olympic champion for pole vault. Pole vault, you know, jump, over the thing, right? Pole vault. She was injured just before the next Olympics. So she was the gold medalist for pole vault before. She was injured just before the next Olympics. She could not practice, physically practice. So she sat and mentally practiced. When she finally got a chance to practice just before, she was okay, but she still got first at the next Olympics. Even though there were many, many months of not practicing physically. Because her brain told her body she has done this before. The muscles were ready to do what she wanted, even though the muscles cannot be used. Okay, in all the studies they've shown, when you prep your brain, even though you don't do it, you get it more likely, higher chance of doing it right than someone who never prepped their brain. Of course, the person who does it itself, does the extra exercise will always get it better. But the person who don't exercise but think about it will get it better. And the person who don't think and don't exercise will get nothing. Right? So that's where this comes from. Okay? It's very powerful. So I have to say this. The real reason why you know it's very powerful is one of the industries that makes a lot of money in the world, right, is the pornographic industry, right? How does pornography work? People see a picture. It is so powerful that their body has a reaction. When the person and picture is not even real, we believe so much, we act like that. That's why computer games, avatars, right? It's like that also. We follow the avatar. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that your right brain is activated so you can follow that. Okay? So that's why we use miracle questions. Okay? So I'm going to pause here for questions, and then we're going to talk about miracle questions and how to use them.